we're joined by an amazing young lady. She's a dear friend of mine. She's a business partner. She is super smart, super creative, man. I am so excited to chit chat with her today. Her name is Megan Grosz. Megan, welcome to What the Heck is Music Publishing? What's going on?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so Megan, you just to kind of like give a quick background, you were raised or born in Minneapolis,
I grew up in Wisconsin and I went to school in Minneapolis.
and then you moved to LA,
That's
right?
right. Uh-huh.
And now you're living in London.
That is correct.
And then next year you're moving to France.
We'll see.
I can't keep up, so I'm trying to see. So Megan, I've known you for a while, and I met you actually through NARIP, which I'm pretty sure you can talk some more about that. How did you actually get your start in this complex music business?
Um, well, as far as getting into music, I mean, I've always had an interest in music. I've always loved music. And when I went to college, I didn't really know what I wanted to study. So I thought, well, I'll study business because that's pretty general. You could do a lot of different things with that. That wasn't for me at all. So I decided that I wanted to do business related to something that I really loved, which is music. So I ended up going to a different school. I studied music production, music business. Um, and then I did a couple of internships and moved out to LA, and the rest is history.
Could you name some of those companies that where you interned?
Sure. When I was in Minneapolis, I interned at a studio called A440. I think they're still around, but they do more video production now. So I was just helping out with the day-to-day, what was going on in the studio, helping if the artists need anything. I would, go run errands or just general day-to-day kind of stuff, I guess. And then when I moved out to LA, I interned at a company called CMH Records. They do covers of um, popular songs. They do bluegrass versions, lullaby versions, string quartet versions. They're kind of fun compilations that they put together, and I was helping with the licensing for that.
Oh, so based on your studies, would you prefer to stay in the studio business or not necessarily?
Um, I mean, in order to be successful in that, it takes a certain type of person, and that just I really enjoyed it, but it just wasn't for me. And but I'm glad that I have that experience because I have an understanding of that side a little bit as well.
And when did you actually move to LA? Like, what part? When?
2007, 2008.
Oh, that's a
So
while ago.
a while ago, yeah.
Yeah. So now you're in this more complex thing called music publishing. How did you like what made you make the shift? Did you stumble in music publishing? How did that happen?
A little bit. I mean, I always was interested in, like, my favorite classes were my business classes and my contract law classes when I was studying the business side of things. And then when I was in LA, I was looking for like post-production jobs and just kind of things more on that side, and wasn't having any luck. And was like, okay, I really need a job. And my friend who I knew from school was working at this record label. And he's like, I'm so busy. I don't know how I'm going to do all of this work. And I was like, well, I'll do anything. Like, let me come help you for a while until I get a job.
Yeah.
So I went and helped him. He showed me what he was doing. And what it was researching these popular songs that we were going to do covers of to license. And I hadn't really explored the publishing side of the business before, and it was just really fascinating to me. Like, wow, this song that was performed by this person is actually written by these 4 different writers I've never heard of, and these are their publishers, and like, what is this world? And it was just really, really interesting to me, and it came naturally, and ended up getting hired at that company, and just really enjoyed it. So
Wow.
kind of found my niche that way.
Talk to us about CCC.
Right. So the California Copyright Conference is an organization in LA area. They have monthly educational panels. It's a nonprofit organization. So everybody that's on the board that's involved is in it because they want to give something back to the industry and the community. And so I was their admin for about 1.5 years.
Nice.
So I got to learn a lot. I got to participate in these events, meet a lot of people. It's a great organization if you're in the LA area. Definitely recommend.
Yeah.
Or if you're not, they have online programs too.
Yeah, and we do have a mutual friend there, Renee, right?
Yes, Renee. Renee is on the board. She's been involved with them for a long time. I've worked with her before. I'm excited that she's going to be doing an interview here as well, because that is something that I always want to learn more about.
Yeah, she has a lot of information, and you actually introduced us. Do you remember that?
That's right. Yes, because you asked me some questions about YouTube, and I wasn't sure. I was like, but I know an expert in this area.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know, and that's true leadership, because a lot of people always thought that to be a leader is to do everything yourself. That's not what it is. You lead with what you know, and by also delegate. You delegate, you get the information. So kudos to you for that. That's a nice. That was a nice introduction, and we're still partners to this day.
I'm happy that worked out.
Yeah, I've kind of dug into your life a little bit and noticed that there's somewhat a legal background to Megan Grosz, even though you don't talk about it and you kind of shy away from it. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Just so we clear, guys, I'm not asking you to hire her as a lawyer. She's not a lawyer.
I am not a lawyer. I didn't go to law school.
Pause. Yeah.
Just make that clear.
Yeah, but tell us, like, your legal background. What did you actually do in that legal space?
The California Copyright Conference that we were just talking about, I'd say about half of the board members there are attorneys in the music industry. So I think I kind of picked up some things from osmosis. I mean, it's always something that is related to publishing, like what are the legal issues that are affecting writers and publishers. So it's definitely something I've always kept tabs on, especially through that. And then when at my first job as a copyright assistant, we got a lot of training about publishing contracts, because we'd be the ones putting in all of the rates, making sure all of the songs were registered, and we had to look at the contracts and know where to look, like these are the rates for this and this income type. And so we really got to know what are the parts of a publishing contract, what are the things that you need to look for. So I'm just really familiar with that specific area.
Yeah, because I have reached out to you before, and you're one of the most consistent people I know in terms of your language. Anytime I reach out to you for some sort of legal advice, is it Dean? I'm not a lawyer. It's funny because you always say that to me first. I'm like, I know. But I really appreciate the work that you've done over the years, and you know, I'm the type of person that likes to double check and check things out. And even when I meet someone or working with someone, I sometimes put that information to another one, or I would speak to another lawyer over there, or speak to another person over there, and just to see how the information connects, and everything is always legit. So I really appreciate your legal advice over the years. Oh my gosh. So, all right. One of the biggest things that we have in the music publishing world that a lot of songwriters don't even know exists is international PROs and the importance of them. In the States, we have three PROs, right? We have ASCAP, BMI, and CSEC, correct?
Right.
And overseas, I think they have like just one per country. Could you give us, paint a picture about international PRO, the importance of them versus mechanical rights?
Sure. Well, in the US, things are done a little bit differently, not only in the publishing sphere, but also with neighboring rights and sound recording or performance. But we're going to focus on publishing today.
Yeah.
And so in the US, we don't really have a mechanical society. We have Harry Fox and we have Music Reports and we have all of these companies that they're more licensing agents.
Yeah.
But we're one of the only countries that licenses where labels have to get a license directly from the publisher. In almost every other country, there's a mechanical society, and they're the one mechanical society. And if you want to release a record, you just go through, like in the UK, and you just get a license from MCPS, and it's very simple. Simple if you're in that country.
Yeah.
So there are, I just counted about 100 different mechanical and performing rights societies around the world. Most of them are both rights types. Some countries have one of each, like the UK, for example, has PRS for performing rights and MCPS for mechanical rights.
Yeah. And in Germany, there's GEMA. Now, and so Germany also has its mechanical department.
Right. And they do the split a little bit differently, actually. So that's, they split it where the writer gets a larger share than the publisher. So that's one reason why I think, unless you're a huge company with a big staff that has time to really dig into what each society's requirements are, it's a great idea to have a sub-publisher partner that can take care of that for you if you're a publisher.
Yeah, talk about that. Sub-publisher versus like a company like Songtrust, because Songtrust serves as an admin company, sort of sub-publishing. Yeah.
They are, yeah. They basically can act as a sub-publisher. A sub-publisher and administrator are basically the same thing. A sub-publisher just means they're representing you in another country. So if you tell Songtrust to register your songs in all the countries except the US, then they're essentially your sub-publisher.
So it's kind of like if we were to license a song in the UK for TV, it's way much easier to connect with a sub-publisher in that area who can get us through those doors, correct?
Right. I mean, we ran into that where there's a blanket license between the BBC and PRS, MCPS, which, we weren't really aware of because, we're focused on what the laws are in the United States. So having a representative in that country that's familiar with all of the practices in that territory, that knows what their rights society's requirements are, it just makes things so much easier than trying to figure it out all of yourself, which goes back to what you were saying before. Delegate. Yeah.
And it's very important. I'm Jamaican, and so there's JCAP that's in Jamaica, and but they do things a little bit differently as well. The last time I checked, a few months ago, maybe they changed now. They told me that they still require a CD with the songs that an artist or a songwriter is trying to register. And I said, excuse me? And she repeated it, so everybody has different rules, regulations, different policies. In Barbados, where I go a lot, there's a thing, cost cap. There are a little bit more like us in the US. So, but it's very important to, like you said, get a sub publisher or a person like Soundtrack